Cunninghm, and I have the pleasure of having in the hot seat today, Mr. Buford Jones, the third.
Third.
We got to put that third on there.
Yeah, there's two more. Well, there was two more.
It is two more, okay. But listen, this guy here, I've known this man for a very, very long time. And first thing first, I think the people want to give you a round of applause.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We can't leave the people out.
Right.
We cannot leave the people out. Like I said, I've known this man for a long time. I want to go back. Let's see. When I say a long time, Buford, I mean it goes back to Hosting Hills.
Oh yeah, right down the street.
Hosting Hills. Let's see. Man, we played ball together. I mean, basketball, football. You know, I guess we was probably little boys.
Yeah.
In the neighborhood, and we grew up, and then it's like we didn't. You know, it's like we went separate ways.
Right.
You know, because let's see, where'd you go to school? You went to.
I did a tour of the Knox County school system. But I started at Fulton and I went to Holston. Both times they respectfully asked that I leave.
You said.
But yeah, I graduated from Bearden.
That's funny. Because you said they respectfully, asked you to leave.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we're not gonna get into why they asked you to leave.
Right. Let's not.
Let's not do that. We're not here to bring up anybody's past.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, we've known each other for a long time, and we actually reconnected later on, and we connected at Knoxville College. Good old KC. We did we were in marching band together. He got the shirt on.
Yeah.
I'm
representing.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't wear mine.
Oh, I got like 20.
I can't. I'm too big.
No, man. I'll get Sean to make you one. We make them every year. So
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So we reconnected at Knoxville College, and we had a great time there. Like I said, we're not gonna bring no memories up. But we
had some good ones.
We had some good ones. So today we're gonna talk about your book. He is a author, and is this your first book?
This is the first book I've had published.
Okay.
I've attempted at writing a couple of books. Me and another one of our brothers, Leroy Barrett.
Yeah.
We wrote a book 2013.
Okay.
Unfortunately, like as a lot of people who are creatives are, we kept tweaking it, and we were never satisfied enough with the book.
Mm-hmm.
So we never put it out. And so eventually that's when I wrote this. I said, I'm not gonna worry about is it good enough. I'll be doing that forever. So I'm gonna write it, I'm gonna edit it, and then let's let it do what it does.
So when you say was it good enough?
Was the first one good enough, or was this one good enough?
No, not this one. The first one that you and Leroy did, because it's like you said 2013.
Yeah.
You go back and forth. Like, was it like a team effort, or was it one person like, hey, I don't like that, and we're not gonna put that out?
So I'm not sure if every writing team does it like this. But, you know, we wrote for a long time together because we used to do music together. And then, so kind of like the same way we would do music. When, you know, I was a DJ, he was a rapper. So we would come up with concepts and he would write it, I'd do the music, we put it together. Sometimes he would do the music, sometimes I'm giving writing examples or suggestions. And so, you know, we just had a good collaborative team. And so we started writing about 2007. We started writing, you know, literature. We started off writing, we were trying to write a television show. And so he had ideas and I had ideas. And at that point, it's a television show, so we're writing episodes. So he'll write episodes, I'll write episodes. Of course, you know, that one is still shelved. We've got like 60 projects that never hit
It's okay.
the light.
That's okay. Because, you know, I'm the same way. And my wife will tell me, she said, Kevin, you are a dreamer, you know. And I am. Guess what? I still have stuff in the vault that needs to be put out. But hey, I mean, things have seasons. They have certain times to blossom. So,
Right.
Now, didn't you all have a company? What was the name of that company?
It's called Million Flea.
Is that still in existence, or where is that at?
It's not defunct. It's just we're not operating in it right now.
Okay.
So it's still there. I mean, because that's my brother. We're gonna be brothers forever.
Right.
It's sometimes paths go a different way.
Gotcha.
So he's taking a path. He's got a movie that's out and he's shopping it. It's called Dying to Learn, which is funny. It's a similar title, but he's doing big things with that on the West Coast. And then I took time off to write. What we had mainly done was we had concepts and we had other projects that weren't necessarily writing. But then when writing took over, it took him one way, it took me a different way.
Yeah.
And so it's still there. It's just not functioning currently.
Yeah, that's fine. Slide me one of those books, if you would. So, Death Comes Crawling, and you know, people, let's support our brothers and our sisters in their entrepreneur journeys and that, you know, what we do. Let's see. Let me ask you this: how did you come up with the name Death Comes Crawling?
So I'm a big reader. I probably read 2 or 3 books a week. So, and always have. I've just always been a big reader.
You're a big reader, and I'm a little reader. No, hold on. Let me correct that. You're a big reader. I'm a no reader.
And it's not for everybody. I mean, you know, there's
but you know what? I'm gonna get a try at this.
All right.
I'll give you my word on that.
Okay, it's short
Because I cannot sit here and tell my viewers to check out your book and I don't.
Okay.
So that's I'm gonna be definitely totally fair with that, you know.
All right.
So, but go ahead. How'd you come up with the name?
Right. So the concept came before the name because when the concept came, all I knew was I wanted to write about it. It started as a Facebook post about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and basically the question was, if someone offered you, let's say, $10 million, and there's no catch other than you're going to be pursued by a snail for the rest of your life. Now, the snail cannot be killed, and it knows where you are at all times. And if you touch it or it touches you, you're going to die a horrible death. So, would you still take it? And I'm seeing all these people that are saying, yeah, it's a snail. But I was thinking about it. I was like, no, I don't want to be chased by anything for the rest of my life, knowing it can kill me, especially something small.
Right.
You know, and then, you know, I hear people say stuff like, oh, well, you know, I just put down a bunch of salt. I'm like, dude, they already said you can't kill it.
Right.
So I'm like,
listen to the stipulations.
Right. It's the small print on those contracts that get you. So for me, I thought, why would anybody do this? But when I saw so many people were saying, yeah. Then it became an interesting concept to me. And all I knew was I was going to write about it. And I thought, I'll write some little short story about it or whatever. And it just turned into what it turned into.
Well, people are just listening. They heard you say $10 million. And that's all. Everything else was out the window.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. And I mean, it tells how money can cloud judgment, And so I started writing it long before I had a title. And so when I realized that this is going to be a long short story, and I thought, okay, what am I going to call this? And then I just thought about the concept of it, and I thought, in this case, the death is crawling at you. Yeah. So death comes.
And it's crawling at you constantly.
Yes, even without a snail, death is crawling.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like with this snail, even though it's a snail and it moves slow, it doesn't stop moving. It's constantly moving. You as a person is not constantly moving.
No.
So you actually don't know where that snail is at all times.
And you don't know where it is from the start. It might be in your house at the time when you start this journey. You have no idea where it is. It might be in Istanbul. It might be next door. But it's a snail, and people don't realize how. And so I did a little research too. You encounter like 200-300 snails a day. And I don't see that many snails a day.
Huh?
But they're everywhere. They're all over the place. So,
really?
I noticed as I was coming here, there was a snail right outside of my door.
So now you are being labeled the snail whisperer.
Right. Right.
I mean, how in the world do you just get to, I don't know, I ain't gonna say finding a snail, but you are aware of snails now because you have.
Without a doubt. I see them all the time now where I never paid any attention to them before. But I mean, sometimes they're right over your head. So imagine if that was, and you don't know which, it's not like it's got a flag or a cape. It's just a snail. You don't know which snail is the one that's coming to get you. So
it could just be a snail.
Right. So, but I mean, it could be on the back of somebody's jacket. It could be anywhere. So that's a crazy risk to take, in my personal opinion.
I'm gonna tell you something. That concept, that's pretty deep.
I agree, which is why it intrigued me. I was like, because there's more than just the surface. I got a cousin, we talk all the time. What's up, Andre? And he's just fearless, even knowing everything. He's like, nah, run that money. Go ahead and give me money.
Andre, listen. That 10 million or that snail, man, I'm not gonna take my chances on that snail because as my man just said, that snail could be, and we didn't specify is it a fat snail, a skinny snail, a green snail, a brown snail. Listen, he said a snail.
Right. That's all. That's the only hint you're gonna get. It's a snail. We don't know where it is. We don't know when it's going to get to you, if it's going to get to you. And so when you read the story, it goes through 3 different scenarios, 3 different people through 3 different decades. It starts in 1974, then it goes to 1983, then I think it's 1996. And then so it just shows what happens with all 3 of these people in these 3 decades.
Now, why did you choose those years?
Well, because of the money amount. So $10 million in 1974. Who's going to turn that down? I mean, $10 million is like $100 million now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, who's going to turn down $100 million? That's a risk worth taking. So I changed the amounts. In the first one, I believe it was $1 million. $1 million was a lot of money in 1974.
Yes, sir.
So, but it's enough to change your life, but it might not be enough to make you do something just stupid. So And in this now, I'm hoping I'm not telling too much of the book, which I don't think I am, but the guy lays it out. I mean, you get a contract that explains everything. Here's what's gonna happen. Here's what you're up against. You sign it, we'll give you the money right then, cash, bam. Well, you'll see. There's a lump sum of it is in cash. The rest of it is readily available to you, and there you go. So in the second one, it was 1983, and it was $2 million. And then in 1996, it was $6 million.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
so with that, like I said, that's enough to maybe take a chance, especially if you're desperate. And once you read it, you'll understand the situation that all these people were in, and so they just went for it.
Yeah.
And it didn't always turn out good. I'll just say that. And then there's something different about the snail too that comes out in the very end.
But the crazy thing is that with the scenario that you gave about the 10 million and the snail, and everybody's talking about I want to take the 10 million, but let's just say if that snail caught up with you, wow, because you still got to be ready, because where are you going? What's going to be your eternal home?
Right. Well, so I'll give some insight. Just, again, in the first one, the guy actually encounters the snail, and he thinks he has a contingency plan. And then you find out maybe this wasn't such a good idea. So, yeah, he thinks he's got it thought out. He thinks it's foolproof, and then it's not. So
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I think it's an interesting read. I think I'm proud of it. I think it's not your run of the mill story. It's a little bit different. I'm not going to claim to be the best writer on earth, but I don't think anyone is. It just depends on what you like and all that. So, and then there's 3 other stories in there.
Well, I will say this it's got me. I'm like, man, I'm gonna really read this because you got my wheels spinning.
Okay.
And that's a good thing,
Right.
because if you can ignite, somebody's mind, just by talking about it, it's like, oh man, I gotta check that out.
All right.
Yeah. So I don't know if you was planning on doing that, but
I mean, I wasn't aware. I didn't know if you were a reader or not, bro. But
no, and I like what I like about it ain't thick. People, I can read. People, I can read. Don't get it twisted. I can read. I just don't like to read, and I've always been that way. I mean, it is what it is. But I am inspired to read this brother's book. So let me ask you this: is there a person or persons that have inspired you to write?
A couple people. So first, I'm gonna say my mother. My mother taught me how to read before. I don't have any memory of not knowing how to read.
Okay.
And I've got some early memories, but she taught me to read before I even started school. So, which was that segues right back into what we were saying, where we split paths early on because I was young when I graduated high school. So I was a couple of years younger than my classmates. So I had gone off to college and all that other stuff, and so we lost path. But
Buford, you went to college when you was 15 years old, didn't you?
I was 16.
16.
Yeah, I was 16 when I started college.
That's awesome. That's beautiful.
It would have been beautiful if I had taken advantage of that. So when you're 16, just for whoever is young and goes to school, just keep a level head. I mean, so 16, I went to school on the other side of the state. I'm 6 hours away from home.
Yeah.
I'm by myself. I didn't even know anybody else there. I was the only Knoxvillian there. And I'll say this: I went to University of Tennessee at Martin when I first went to school, and they said they used to have an accolade, a superlative for wildest freshman, and a whole bunch of people were like, "Dude, if they still had wildest freshmen, that would."
Yeah, baby. So you would have got it.
Oh,
flying colors.
I'd have had it. I'd have had it when I was a senior. 'Cause I was wild enough for 20 people. But I was young, and you know, and young, and you've achieved something early. It makes you feel a certain type of way. You know, a certain type of arrogance that I already had that anyway. And yeah, that wasn't necessarily a good idea. But anyway, I digress. My mom got me on the road early, and I had a love of reading. I had a virtual library in my room. We had encyclopedias in my room. I mean, I read everything I could get my hands on. I just always loved reading.
And it was exciting to read, wasn't it?
It was for me, because it was a complete escape. It still is. When I'm reading, I'm gone. I'm gone. If I'm at work and that's what I do during my break time. I want to leave this place, and I'm all the way gone. And that's what inspires me in writing as well. But the second thing is Stephen King. I don't know who reads or likes the movies of Stephen King or whatever, but he writes so. It's just amazing. It just, from the first page, it's just, I'm just in. I'm all the way in, and then and people go, well, I don't like scary stuff. But, you think Stephen King wrote The Shawshank Redemption. He wrote The Running Man. He wrote all these movies that's not scary movies. And, people just don't know. But so that inspired me when, after reading several of his books, I've read everything he's written. And I just go, man, if I could do this, I'd be in heaven. And so I do, but my head is filled with stories all the time, all the time. And so it's almost a selfish thing to write. I got to get it out because I feel like I'm going to explode if I don't. And so those are the things that inspire me to write. Sometimes you might meet somebody that sparks something in you, or ideas, or anything, and that happens. That happens. Right. So
and we all have our escapes. Whether if it's reading, playing musical instruments, playing video games, we all have an out or an escape. And I know my escape is I love playing music. I love playing drums. But when you just don't, like, for me doing that, I don't have time because I'm always driving, and then so if I'm driving and I get home, it's time to go to bed because you have to drive the next night. But those escapes, we develop some as we different ones when we get older in life. So, but for you've always kept your hand on a book, and that's awesome. I applaud you because, like you said, your mom started you at an early age.
Right.
And I think that when parents start their kids doing something like that, and it will progress as they get older, I think that's something that parents today, I think that's something that they should continue to do. Let me ask you this: as far as your mom pushing you to read, what would you say to that parent right today? Because we always say, hey, kids don't have anywhere to go. The recreation centers are gone. What would you say to that parent that says, "Hey, there's nothing for the kids to do today"?
I mean, I've said for years that's an excuse. There's plenty for the kids to do. Um, it might not be things that you see. I mean, like a lot of parents in our community, a lot of times, you see the things that you are looking at. I like basketball, so I see basketball. I see sports because that's what I like. I like music. That's what I like. So they see, okay, well, you can do sports, you can do music. And okay, I don't really see anywhere around here to do that. And so there's nothing for you to do. But that's not true because there's all kinds of stuff to do. Um, so what my mom did, she didn't push me towards books. What she did was she showed me how to do something early at a young and impressionable enough age to where I sought that thing out because that was freedom to me. That was growing up to me. I'm like, oh, I see grown-ups doing this, and now I can do it. So now I'm going to do it. So I would encourage people, especially in our community, if you're looking to engage your child, give them something they can grow with. Something like reading. That's such a missing part of a lot of things today. Everything you do in life in this country, if you don't know how to read, you're done. So if you can instill that early, really, really early, that way let them decide their own path. Don't let them decide that reading is work or something they don't want to do but I mean other things like that. There's games, there's teach them games that nobody knows so that they'll want to teach their friends. That way they can build something, and that puts a different type of learning in their head. You teach a kid how to play chess. Let's say chess. I like chess. I learned it late in life. I really, really wish I'd learned it early because the love of that would have made me seek out other people to play it. And if I couldn't find any, then I'd teach some. And then they might develop that love, and then it spreads that way. Yeah. Same with all kind of games that we don't know about. We know about basketball, we know about football because we see them on TV, but soccer is the biggest sport in the world. And I personally don't even know the rules.
Right. So I just know you just kick the ball and run.
Right. So if there were more people in our community that took an interest in something like that, in learning that and spreading that, then we could be more connected. Think of how many opportunities there are to play soccer, but just not really in this community. I'm not gonna say that per se, because Austin East won the state. So,
right.
But I didn't see any soccer players when I was growing up in my neighborhood.
Right.
And I mean, so there's all kind of things, and it doesn't have to be sports, and it doesn't have to be reading, and it could be anything. It could be plumbing. I'll tell you what, if my dad had taught me plumbing when I was a kid, I would have loved it. I would have learned more about it. He taught me how to work on cars, and for a long time that was a passion. Of course, reading was already my passion, so it didn't take a hold as much as it could have. But like to this day, I've got a very good working knowledge of cars. I'm not a mechanic, there's a lot of stuff I can't fix. But just using that as an example, there's so many things, anything that you can teach a child to do, you're possibly sparking an interest in them that could turn out to be a positive thing later.
And especially, getting light when we were coming up, and I will take my grandfather for an example. Because I had seen him do so much. I seen him plant gardens. I seen him work on cars. I seen him fish. I never did get to go with him hunting. But those are the things that if you can spark, like you said, a kid's interest and also put in that to add to that, make it a little fun.
Yeah.
You know, those are the things that go a long way. They go a long way.
Yeah.
So, that being said, that's good stuff. And I appreciate that. So right now, we're gonna go to commercial,
All right.
and we'll be right back.
Looking to grow your small business? Contact Tanika Harper, The Roots Collective by Shara Foundation, a entrepreneur extraordinaire.
Looking for soul into food? Visit and taste the love of Chef Mo.
Can you say sweet? Sweet. Verdi's baked goods are custom sweet. Now that's sweet.